Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video, and we have a sacred event coming up, guys. If you follow the trends, if you pay attention to these things, you know that there is a two-time sacred event starting this weekend. It's going to start the 15th, the Friday, and go all the way through Monday, the 18th, which is, I think, usually a day longer than it typically does. Because on top of that 2x event, which is obviously the best time to pull your shards because you have the greatest chance of getting a Lego, there's also going to be a 10x event to get Calvalax. Calvalax is just an insane champion, really, really good in all areas of the game. Amazing in clan boss, great in dungeon runs, pretty darn good in arena as well. So this is one of those champions where I think everybody can benefit from having them on their account. I'm excited to try and get them myself. I got 2 sacred shards I'm going to be yeeting trying to get there. We'll see if RNGesus has my back on this one. I don't know, but he's really, really good. So I definitely am like saying, hey, you know, you want to pay attention to what you have. If you already have them, maybe you don't need them, then perhaps you want to pull your shards on Friday in hopes of getting somebody else. But if you do have them or you don't have them and you just, or if you don't have them or you do have them and you want a second one, then wait till Saturday and pull your shards then and get a wonderful opportunity to get this amazing champion. You get the benefit of a 2x event and the benefit of a 10x event. So there's not going to be any better chance to pull Calvalax for your account. I myself am going to be pulling shards on stream Saturday at noon Pacific time. So if you want, you can join me then. We'll see how many people have shards left after this fusion event to pull. But if you have them, I would really recommend pulling them then. So this could be a very, very fun thing. So what I thought I'd do is I do a like little champion spotlight on Calvalax. Now, here's the thing. I did one a couple months back already. I actually did 2 of them, one for clan boss and one for just like, you know, other content, arena, dungeons, that sort of thing. Because what happened was Calvalax, if you don't know, was a player created champion. David Fitzsimmons won a contest, like a character creation contest. He drew the guy, came up with the skills, and Plarium said, yes, that's the one. You're the winner. We're going to make this champion into the game. And now we have Calvalax, who's really, really good. So he came to me actually and said, hey, Plarium gave me this champion. I'd really like it if you did a spotlight on him. And I'm like, I'm honored that you'd even approach me about this. So of course I did. And I ended up doing 2 videos on him. So what I thought I'd do today is I'd splice those 2 together, trim it down a little bit, but give you the full spectrum of what Calvalax can do. So it's your one-stop shop for everything Calvalax. If you want to know how his skills work and you know how good he is in different areas of the game, this is going to be that video for you guys. So I'm really happy to show this to you guys. That's pretty much it. I'll let my younger self take it away from here. Let's take a quick look at his kit here before we get into it. So his A1, basically, he has a chance of increasing the duration of poisons, and he gets a heal based off the number of poisons that are on the target. That's a really nice skill. Obviously, for clan boss in a traditional team, we're talking that healing is going to be great, but more importantly, we're going to be extending the duration of the poisons that we have on the clan boss, which is only going to help us do more damage. That's a really nice ability. His A2 here, this Corruption Locus, basically he puts an extra hit for every poison debuff on the enemy, so that can be up to 4 hits total. And each of those hits does do considerable amount of damage. This is a nice damage skill. It is just a damage skill though, so there is a possibility of maybe wanting to turn that off. Personally, I say keep it on because it does a lot of damage and it's worth keeping. And then his A3 here, attacks all enemies, decreases, damage increases according to the number of poison debuffs on each target. It's based off enemy max HP and attack. So obviously with these kinds of skills, attack is less important, even though it comes first. It's usually less important than enemy max HP. This is the way it works with Cold Heart. It's the way it works with Royal Guard. It's the way it works with any champion that does damage based off enemy max HP. And you know, looking at it, testing them a little bit in dungeons, this does seem to be the case where this ability caps out at that 10% when you're doing dungeons 21 through 25. But it caps out. It does lots and lots of damage. It's pretty awesome watching somebody do, I don't know, 500,000 damage against Dragon 25 type of thing. It's pretty bonkers. So He's going to do exceptional work on the clan boss as well. Then we have his passive ability, places 4 poison debuffs on all enemies for 2 turns at the start of each round. This is a really nice skill here, and has a 50% chance of placing 5% poison debuff on all enemies for 1 turn at the start of each turn. This is very kind of similar to what an occult brawler does. At the start of their turn, they place a poison. He has a 50% chance of that. And then whenever an enemy places a poison debuff on this champion, instantly removes it and replaces it with a 15% continuous heal buff for 2 turns instead. Again, more sustain. This is a really nice skill. He's got really nice abilities here. I think he's going to be exceptional in pretty much every area of this game. So you're definitely going to want to pay attention to this champion. And then, of course, on top of that, he has an awesome speed aura, 19% in all battles. This guy is great all the way around. And if we look, he's got great base stats too. His HP is super low, so he's a little bit of a glass cannon, but his attack is one of the highest in this game. His defense is actually very considerable for attack-based champion. And his speed is not bad. 99 speed is not a bad number. Got the crit rate. He's got about as high crit damage as you can get to start. Even some resistance and accuracy as well. It's a very, very, very strong champion. Okay, let's see what he does in Arena here with Elenaro. I just kind of want to see how these poisons work and if this is a viable option. It's kind of a similar plan as you do with like a Zavia and a Taurus. You can see the poisons go out. It's pretty awesome. Elenaro, I don't think is the strongest of champions, so that might be the weak spot here. But as we come in with the combust, boom, hits them all hard. Now, obviously, Zavia would be even better, but there's no Zavia on this account, so we have limitations. But that's kind of an interesting little detail there, I think, which was pretty cool. And then we can see Calvalax. Go ahead and put some more poisons out, buddy. Let's do that big AoE hit. It's still, oh man, that thing smacks. That thing hits hard. Wow. Wow, that's a nice skill he's got right there. In fact, let's make this a different challenge. Instead of using Elenaro, because I don't know that we need to, let's go ahead and bring in Madame Ceres and see if we can't just use him as a nuker in Arena. Because I have a feeling he might be amazing in that. We get those poisons just to start. Decrease defense weaken. Whew. Yeah. Dude smacks. That's a pretty ridiculous skill right there. Pretty ridiculous. Now, here's what I want to see is how he works with champions. Obviously, champions in immunity gear maybe not have the same effect. So let's see if we can't find somebody a little bit more of a challenge here. Yeah, this may be working. We've got shields from Krisk. We'll see how this works. No immunity out there, but there goes the shields. Interestingly, the poisons go on first. So the poisons went on first, then the shields went out. I wonder if that's how it works with everything. That still is a massive hit. You can kill Krisk. That's a pretty good sign, I'd say. He's very slow right now too. I still have him in a clan boss style build, so there's nothing really fancy going on with him, which I think is pretty interesting. Let's see if we can't find something a little bit more of a challenge. Duchess team. Okay, now Duchess team should be interesting. Let's see if we can't. What goes on here? There goes the poisons. Yeah, I mean, I'm really trying to find an immunity team to make this work, but even so, this is just a strong ability. Oh my. Very fun champion to use. Yeah, the shields go on it seems like the poisons are the first thing that goes. You notice those shields there? Those are from shield sets. So it looks like those poisons actually go first. He just nuked the heck out of them. Okay, this is great. Necrit places immunity on somebody, so we can kind of get at least a little bit of an idea of how this can work here. And we'll see how this goes. So, the poisons go out, then all the abilities happen after that, which is interesting. You notice the buffs went out afterwards too. So I'm really, I think that's a very interesting thing. Now the other great thing is he's green affinity, which means he's going to be strong against Candrafons right there. Ooh. That's a lot of damage. Nearly killed everyone. As soon as they take a turn, though, they should die because of the poisons, which is pretty bonkers. Okay, so this is the gear I have Calvalax in right now. It's going to be a kind of a blend build, right? He's got some accuracy. He's got pretty solid speed, I'd say, with good crit rate and damage and attack. Yeah, he's set and ready to hit hard, and that's what we want. Also to be able to land those debuffs, which we also want, because we do need accuracy, even get the poisons off initially. Let's look at him in Spider 20. Now, here we have this team. It's not built to win. That's not the goal here. The goal here is simply to showcase what he can do. You see the poisons go up first. We are going to try and just max this out pretty much as we can here, and get as many of them out as possible. And that's just kind of the goal we're going to go with today. Try and get decreased defense and weaken poisons. You can see we can throw even more poisons. Perfect. And we have a full bar of poisons and decreased defense and weaken, and we're going to be able to see his max skill here, the max HP hit, and watch what it does. 1.75 million or so. It's a pretty good amount, I would say. Definitely not too shabby. So that's kind of what he can do with that. It's a very strong skill, very strong ability that he's got there. And so that's kind of an interesting thing that he can do when you're going through this. Being able to do that kind of crazy damage to all the enemies is pretty nuts. And then we can come back around again with that Kaimar reset. 1.78 again, just a lot of damage there. Now, here's the interesting thing. You'll notice those two numbers were exactly the same both times, right? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out exactly how that's based and calculated. Obviously, his attack does seem to matter. Obviously, having poisons does seem to matter. But my question, as before, is does it matter how many poisons that he has up? So let's go ahead. We're going to go back this time. And we're going to see this again. But we're going to do it a little bit different this time. This time, even though we have Battle Khazar on the team, I'm not going to use his poison ability. So we're going to see, does it matter how many poisons we have out, or does it just matter that we have poisons up? And see if there's a difference between the damage that we're doing here. So there we got that going. Just kind of set up into it. Decrease defense and weaken. I don't want to add any more poisons to this build. So here we go. We're going to use this big hit. We did 1.784 million, I think, last time. 1.2. So it does seem like the number of poisons is having an effect on the size of the damage. This time, as we reset, kind of go through it again, let's see if we can't add to the poison total and see if that changes the number that we get out of this. Always an interesting thing to see. All right. Yeah. Let's add some more poisons to the thing. We have pretty much a full amount of poisons up there. Not quite completely, but pretty close. We've got 8. We had 6 before, so we can see if there's any kind of a difference here. This time we did 1.784. That is exactly the same amount as we did the time before. So it does seem to be a static number that it's based off of, which I think is very interesting. There wasn't really any leeway on that. There's no plus minus 10% I didn't see in that. Or RNG is just weird thing that happens. So it's a very interesting kind of ability. It does seem to matter, especially in the dungeons, how many poisons you have up as far as how effective it is. Okay, let's go ahead and take him in Dragon just so you guys can see kind of what he does. I have a nice support team. We got decreased defense and weaken. Plenty of poisons kind of going around as well, so that should be a good way to kind of see what he can do. Revive with Siffy and Little Protection, Kaimar to reset skills so we can go through them a little faster. I'm just going to play this on auto. This is stage 25, and we're just going to kind of watch and see the kind of damage that he does. There you go. We got those poisons to start. And lots of poisons out there to start, decrease defense and weaken, and then he does the nuke. It's a pretty big hit, as you can see. Doesn't fully kill everybody, but definitely takes them down. Now, here's the thing. You can pair him with Zavia, you can pair him with an Elenarl and do crazy damage because he just puts those poisons up right from the get-go, doesn't even need to take a turn. It's very effective here, it's very effective in Arena as well. But kind of want to see what he does damage-wise on his own without that, and as you can tell, pretty good. Survival is not his strongest suit, it's more just like do damage, do speed runs, that type of thing. Now, that said, he hits really hard and goes really quickly. He also has a pretty solid base defense, so he's not super difficult to build with some survivability. He just doesn't have the HP levels. It's actually really low. So there's a little bit of glass cannon factor going on here. Just got to be aware of that. But very, very strong. Now you can see we got tons of poisons. We've already done a lot of damage on stage 25. The guy hits really, really hard. The one thing that we are missing, obviously, is decreased defense and weaken, so it'd be nice if those poisons will fall off so Draco can put the decreased defense and weaken up. I think that should be coming up shortly here. Yep, well, except Draco dies, because that's what Draco does. Other than that, absolutely. But still strong abilities. Draco loves his poisons. Useless. Ooh, that's a big hit. That is the 10%. That is a max HP hit, so it does do 10% of the full health. Doesn't kill everything. So very effective. You can see 4.5 million damage. He's the one that did all the damage in that. Yeah, interesting champ. Now, the way I have him built is pretty much all damage, right? I'm bringing him in an unkillable team in Clan Boss. I want to see what he can do. So I got him 5,900 attack, like super high. 159 speed, we're using that aura, so it's reducing the speed requirements for everybody. It makes it a lot easier to build damage. 265 crit damage, 101 crit rate, and that 226 accuracy there. Just enough to get those poison debuffs on. So if we take a look at his masteries here, we went support tree and we went offensive tree. We can take a little bit closer look as we dive in here, and I'll shrink myself down so it's a little bit easier to see everything. So obviously we're coming all the way down to, well, it's behind me. You can see we're coming down to War Master over here, and that's going to obviously give us some extra damage, as well as we have Life Drinker here. Now, as far as support tree goes, we went accuracy. We did take Cycle of Magic, so hopefully we can get his A3 skill coming back up again. We also have Sniper and Master Hexer to help extend those debuffs, the poison debuffs specifically. So we'll see how this goes. I feel pretty good about that, to be honest with you. We could always go the defensive tree, and I just didn't want to waste all David's resources redoing the masteries again. We could go the defensive tree and try to get some counterattacks, and that's probably what I would recommend for Clan Boss if we were going to, if I was going to build this for my own team. But I think this should still give us a very good idea of how he works and the kind of damage that he does, and that's what I want to do. Now, as far as the setup goes, we are bringing in Vizier here, so you can see this is the team we have. We do have Vizier to hopefully extend all the debuffs and just keep them on permanently. We're going against Green Affinity. It's bad for Vizier, so I don't know how well we're going to keep the debuffs on for the full fight. So, but the whole idea is just to see Calvalax, not really anybody else. That's why with Draco, I'm going to be using all of his skills on the regular, because I just want to make sure we have decreased defense and weaken up, that we have poisons up. I don't want to have to fight over it and try and figure out, you know, who's got more or whatever. I just want to make sure they're up there. So that's what we got going on here. And yeah, that's the team. All right, as you see, we start off getting those 4 poisons up there. It's a really nice ability, quite frankly. And, you know, I have to say, if Vizier wasn't weak affinity, we might not need to bring in any other poisoners, because he'll extend those pretty much right from the jump. Obviously, RNG is a factor, but we're definitely suffering from that weak affinity thing. It's frustrating, to be honest with you, trying to showcase this champion. And I've had to do more than a few runs just to get this right. Okay, but here we are. You saw he put up a poison. Part of his passive ability, really nice. Now we're going to use that A3 skill here and see what it does with no decreased defense and no weaken. Boom, 166,000 damage. It's pretty good, I would say. Pretty good. Only 5 poisons up as well. Remember, it does more damage based on the number of poisons, so this could be pretty interesting on where that ends up at. And then here we go. We're just gonna keep running. Now we got plenty of poisons out there, which is great. We got some extensions, I think, from Vizier there. Let's go ahead and get this A2. Get a bunch of attacks in. There you go. That's that 4 attack, right? You get up to 3 extra attacks based off the poisons, 27 to 30,000 damage. Very nice numbers, I would say. Didn't get any extensions with Vizier because, you know, weak affinity. Love it, love it. Let's wait a turn before we put that out so we can get both decreased defense and weaken on the enemy. Would be nice to have both of those out there. Okay, here we go. A1, see if we can extend those poisons. We do get a little extension on the poisons. That's really nice ability there. It's just a nice little side ability that he has. And doing decent damage. Got those extended again. That's great. Oh, not yet. One more attack. Let's get that decreased defense and weaken out now. Perfect. Boom. We're still alive. Excellent. See if we can't heal up some. We're gonna get this big hit now. Let's see it. Decreased defense weaken. We've got 7 poisons on the boss. 315,000 damage. This is a ridiculous amount of damage, guys. Ridiculous. Hopefully you guys can appreciate what just happened there. That's an insane number that we just threw up on the boss. I'm loving it. Loving it. All right, now we have a full debuff bar, so everything's set in there. Every hit from here on should be maximized for him. We'll get that 4 hitter, see how this does. Again, with decreased defense and weaken. 60,000 per hit. That is a strong ability, guys. That's over 200k on one of those hits. That's, I mean, super, super strong. Just a crazy, crazy skill. We're gonna get the veil there so we don't get the stun. And now we should be pretty much full auto. Get that A1, and now we are full auto right here. And it's gonna be hopefully just crazy comp. Really looking forward to this. If we can keep those buffs extended from Vizier, if we get lucky, this could be a really nice run. But he does stupid, stupid damage. Just like crazy amounts. You can see right there, A1 hits 94,000 damage, pretty solid, I would say. Plus extending the poison debuffs. I mean, really strong. You know, honestly, like with him there, if we could give him counterattack, 315,000 again with that, with all the poisons out there and the decreased defense and weaken is nuts. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you could bring a martyr into this team and have a lot of success. Even a champion like Aox, who also can extend debuffs, or Narma, who can extend debuffs, they both put up poisons, would be wonderful with this kind of a team. I'd love to see, yeah, I mean, there's just so many possibilities to making a team like this really shine. Just really, really fun. It's a very cool team. It's a very, very cool team. I like this champion a lot. It's not the team so much, as this champion is just amazing, right? Not only does he hit incredibly hard, but he's gonna bring you debuffs and he's going to work to keep them up. That's pretty much all you can ask for. Here's where I would really love to see him, and I think he would absolutely shine, is in a 2-1 ratio team. If he could get 2 attacks every turn, I think he could keep his own poisons up permanently on the boss. Even with only like a 55% chance of the extension landing, I think there's a very strong possibility that he could keep them up all by himself. You know, there's a lot of things to consider, right? Like, you know, I know a lot of champions that do extension stuff. Sometimes they can get double procs from War Master. I haven't seen that so far, but it's not like I've been able to, you know, extensively test him yet either. I'm interested to see if there's any difference in damage if you use the small poisons versus the big ones. My guess is no, but I'm not sure. I'm also not 100% sure how many poisons you need to really maximize his damage. Is there a difference between 7 and 8 poisons, or 3 and 8, or 4? I don't know. I'm not sure about that either. So I haven't seen a huge difference based off the number of poisons, and that's kind of interesting to me. So that is something I'd like to test a little further and kind of get some more information on. But I mean, he's stupid good. I mean, he's stupid good champion, right? Like, He's pretty ridiculous here. And Vizier's doing the work right now. We're keeping all the debuffs up, which is great. We're obviously not going to get the same kind of damage we would out of Draco normally, so this is not going to be like a one-key team, but this should do some significant work for us, really have some good damage, and I'm excited to see where it can get to. So I'm going to go ahead and take myself off the screen. We'll jump ahead towards the end here and just kind of, you know, see where it ends up. $51 million, pretty solid, I'd say, pretty solid. He did, good lord, he did 18.5 million damage. It's bonkers the amount of damage this guy can do. It makes a huge difference though too, how much, if we're keeping poisons up, if we're keeping decreased defense and weaken up, that's, I mean, massive for him. I did another run of this where he did about 12 million. And so, you know, Vizier not keeping the debuffs up makes a huge difference. But I mean, he's doing the same amount of damage as Draco in that. Obviously, he has some of those poisons up, but that's a huge amount of damage right there. I mean, just huge. He's a phenomenal champion, guys. Just phenomenal. Those hits are huge. When you can do 250,000 damage off your A2 and 330,000 damage off your A3, that's a really nice amount. Not to mention 100K off the A1. I mean, just a very, very strong champion. Brings a lot to the table. Just one of those people that I think if you can get him, you got to use him. Not to mention that speed aura. Really, that makes a huge difference too, being able to gear your champions slower. Allows you to put attack boots on and attack chests on and focus more on crit rate, crit damage, and the stats that you need, and allows you to build more damage throughout your kit. It's a really strong ability. It goes without saying, this guy's going to be amazing in dungeons. He's going to be amazing in arena. He's going to be amazing pretty much everywhere. And so definitely 100% encourage you guys, if you get him, build him out, put him in your teams. This dude is going to be awesome. Well, major props to David for letting me get on this account and check out Calvalax. This was super fun, really cool champion. I was really excited to be able to test him out, and hopefully this was helpful for you guys. And just so much props for him, like trying to support me by letting me test this champion out. If you guys would like to support me as well, I do have those Patreon links down below if you'd like to join in there, and that's a wonderful way to help support me and the website. Not to mention, if you guys like the music today, use that Soundstripe link down below in the pinned comment description of this video. That's where I get all of my music. So hopefully you enjoyed that as well today. This was super fun. I like this champion a lot. Now I really want him on my account. So hopefully we all have that 2-time summon event this weekend. Hopefully you guys will get lucky and be able to pull Calvalax Calvalax because he is really, really cool. So again, thank you, David Fitzsimmons. And till next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.